What's up, positive bitches? How are we doing today? If you're hearing this episode, you are meant to be here, so keep listening. On that Bitches Positive podcast, sometimes we will laugh, other times, baby girl, we're gonna cry. But we will always walk away feeling our most empowered, positive bitch self. That is babe in true connection with herself. That's right. We're all about unbecoming who we are not so we can fully step into and embody exactly who we came here to be. Today, ooh, girl, I'm excited. We are talking about our body, addy. I feel like one of my main lessons during this lifetime is learning how to accept the body that I have while also transforming it into its best health, understanding the body that I have, listening to the body that I have. I definitely have dealt with so many ups and downs with my physical vessel, my meat suit, my body, addy. And I know that a lot of us feel so much of the time disconnected from our body and that we're not even in a skin that we feel comfortable in, and how to accept our body, how to use our body to actually help us rather than hurt us. And today, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Body, addy, acceptance, how to create body love, how to love ourselves to health, and so much more. Now, I can't have a podcast all about our body and the health for our body without talking about Magic Mind. Magic Mind is my little magic in a freaking bottle. I was having so many issues drinking caffeine every single day. My body was in overdrive. My nervous system felt so triggered. I couldn't even fall asleep. And then I was getting hormonal acne. If this sounds like you need to try Magic Mind. Instead of having these intense ups and intense downs, I started using Magic Mind instead of the traditional pre-workout that had me going to extremes. These pre-workouts have so much caffeine in them, they have so many chemicals, and it causes our body to dysregulate. With Magic Mind, it will give you that boost that you need, but ultimately it will allow you to flow with your natural cycles. Magic Mind truly gives me that little energy boost, but I still feel like me. The secret magic of Magic Mind really comes down to its ingredients. It has matcha that contains way less caffeine than coffee and these other pre-workouts. It also has ashwagandha that reduces stress and anxiety. Lion's mane mushrooms, again, reduces anxiety and inflammation, and so much more. It has all of these healthy ingredients with no chemicals. If you want to try Magic Mind and you want to become your best, healthiest self, go to www.magicmind.com/positive and get 50% off your subscription for the next 10 days with my code positive. Your code will be valid forever as a 20% off for both one-time purchases and subscriptions, but in the first 10 days, it's up to 50% off if applied to a subscription. Again, that's www.magicmind.com/positive. And the code is positive to get 50% off your subscription for the next 10 days. Now, we have a couple of other little announcements that I want to get into, but I'm just so excited for this episode. I have to tell you, I've been getting so many requests to have some sort of weekly program where you guys can actually interact with me. And I decided to start Positive Bitch Bootcamp. Now, Positive Bitch Bootcamp is going to be weekly on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as of now. And our first ever topic we're going to be discussing is how to take them off your pedestal. This webinar, this boot camp, is going to be via Zoom, and I'm going to put the link in the show notes so that you can join us this coming Wednesday. Now, there are limited spots available, so you're going to want to make sure to claim your spot ASAP. Some of the things you will learn during this Positive Bitch boot camp is what energetically chasing truly means, signs of energetically chasing, why energetically chasing doesn't work, why we attract people that are not into us, why we are attracted to a certain type, how to stop putting others on the pedestal, how to shift your beliefs about yourself and love, practical tools to interrupt chasing, and how to refocus on you, plus so much more. The beautiful thing about this webinar is, unlike podcasts or me going live, you can actually have a direct dialogue with me. During the webinar, if you want to participate, all you have to do is raise your digital hand and I can click on you and you can directly talk to me like you're talking to a bestie over the phone. This is going to be an intimate setting, so there is only so many spots available. I don't want to make our Positive Bitch Bootcamp too big. I want it to be accessible for people, affordable for people, while also giving the most value possible. If you want to join this week's webinar, our first ever Positive Bitch Bootcamp, join by clicking the link in the show notes, and I hope to see you there. Otherwise, if you're not yet following me on Instagram at vibinwithcc, be sure to follow me there. Again, all the links are in the show notes. If you are wanting one-on-one coaching with me, you can DM me on Instagram at vibinwithcc. And just putting this out there, if this podcast is helping you, please leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Share it with a friend. Post it on social media. Be sure to tag me so I can repost it as well. Let's spread positive bitchology to all of our friends and family, anyone who's in need, because why? It feels good to do good, and plus we get good karma, so why not? Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is actually inspired by one of you beautiful positive bitches and the words that you sent me via DM on Instagram. This is why I love posting on Instagram, because you guys can directly interact with me. Also why I'm so excited for Positive Bitch Bootcamp, because you can directly interact with me, but actually talking rather than just typing. But anyway, so I posted on my story, Miles Monday, sweat is self-baptism. Every Monday I run, not because I love to, but to prove to myself weekly that I can do things that are hard for me. Sometimes I don't think I can do the run. Sometimes I don't want to do the run, but I do it anyway. Why? To prove to myself, even when I think I can't, I actually can. What's a strain that can serve you? What can you do to prove to yourself how powerful you are? Now, the reason I run every Monday, it's to prove to myself that even when I feel weak, when I feel vulnerable, when I feel sad, or when I feel anxious and I think I can't do my run on Monday, I show myself that I can do it anyway, because I'm more powerful than a feeling that I'm feeling. Feelings to me are not facts. They're energies that are moving through my body, but they cannot dictate to me how I'm going to live. I run every Monday to prove to myself how fucking powerful I am and how I get to decide how I'm going to live. And I feel myself getting emotional already. I was reflecting on why I run every Monday, and I was in the car with Erasmo, and I was telling him that in my elementary school, we used to have the physical fitness test. And in order to get the award for the physical fitness test, you had to be able to run a mile in under a certain amount of time. And it took me from, I guess we began in first grade, from first grade to 8th grade to finally get the award for the physical fitness test. Every single year, every single one of my friends would get the award for the physical fitness test. They were all fast enough, and I wasn't. All of my guy friends and all of my girlfriends, literally every single one of them would be able to do all of the physical fitness, and they would get the award. And I was always sitting there feeling so bad about myself, so uncomfortable, and just embarrassed that, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just run this freaking mile in under whatever amount of minutes I need to run it in? And I feel like now, every Monday, it's me almost giving myself justice. That younger part of myself, that inner child who tried from first grade to second grade, third grade, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, not until 8th grade, trying year after year after year after year and getting a no to get this physical fitness test award. And I feel like me running every single Monday is me taking my power back. Like, this is fucking personal. This is me taking my power back. I don't really care about the time I run a mile in. All I care is that I run 3 miles. That's all I care about. I don't care how long it takes. That is me reclaiming authority over my own body, over my own skin, and over my own health. And I was telling this to Erasmo in the car. By the way, if you don't know, Erasmo is my life partner. He is my boyfriend for 6.5 years. We broke up for 1 year after the 3rd year and then got back together. But anyway, I started to cry to him in the car because I almost forgot about how deeply that affected me. Like, I forgot how bad I would feel about myself every single year. And even now I can feel my eyes watering. I forgot how bad I would hate myself for not being able to run that freaking mile. And it got me thinking about my connection to my own body and how I treat my own body and why I'm in this body. I mean, I've spent more of my life hating my body than I have even just kind of liking it. I've spent more time in my life wanting to starve myself than I have wanting to just feed myself like a normal person. I've spent more time in my body absolutely being wrecked over what God gave me versus being grateful that I have legs and arms. I've wasted a lot of my time and I don't want you to do the same. This brings me to the DM that I recently got. So one of you beautiful positive bitches DM'd me and said, definitely exercising has been a hard topic for me and also a hard thing to do. I just want to pause and say, girl, I freaking get it. I get it. It was a very uncomfortable space for me to have to go in and reclaim. It was a very uncomfortable space for me to have to say, you know what? I'm going to take authority over my workouts. I used to feel like I didn't deserve to even work out because I didn't look like I worked out. I remember I went to the fucking hospital once because, I don't know, I had an ovarian cyst bursting in my ovary, and the nurse was asking me, do you work out? And I remember literally saying, yes, but even though it doesn't look like it, haha. I was very cognizant that I didn't believe that my body looked like a body that worked out, and I didn't think I therefore deserved to even work out because I didn't look like I did. That's a limiting belief right there. There is not a specific type of body shape that deserves to work out. Everyone deserves to be healthy. Everyone deserves to work out. And I see where my fitness level is at right now. The way I see my fitness and my health, I see it as I need to be my healthiest self because I fucking deserve it. And I've spent so much time doing for other people, trying to make other people happy. I need to make myself happy. My health is the greatest gift I can give to me. And I think after, God, I feel like I'm getting emotional. I'm going to let it out because that's what we positive bitches do. I feel like after dealing with dermatitis for 2 years, I really deserve to feel good in my own skin. After trying to figure out what I'm allergic to, why my skin is reacting this way, I really just deserve to feel good in my own skin. I deserve to give myself health. Anyway, this positive bitch goes on to say, okay, let me restart her message. Definitely exercising has been a hard topic for me and also a hard thing to do. Not because I don't have the physical capacity, but my mind has been filled in the past with so many negative thoughts about me and my body, and I have received so much bullying and shame that has created a blockage in my mind. Now that I've healed, I understand that I must do it for myself to teach myself that I can do things, and also as a reminder that I'm alive and have the blessing of being able to enjoy life now and forever. And this just really hit me in the heart because, first of all, yes. Just yes. Secondly, yes. And third of all, fuck yes. We deserve to feel good in our own body. I, for so much of my life, wanted to look a certain way for other people. I wanted to be physically appealing. That was my main motive in getting healthy and getting fit. So I looked a certain way. Now, when Miss D came around, Miss Dermatitis, and she decided to, hit me up every single day for 2 years, I realized, okay, health is not just about what I physically look like. It's how it's affecting me mentally. Because my dermatitis did affect me mentally. It made me feel different about myself in a negative way. It wasn't easy getting in front of a camera every single day with these random things on my face and not understanding why they're even occurring. And the lessons that I've been learning here is, one, bodies that work out don't necessarily look a certain way. Because I literally used to think, if you work out, you should look this way. And because I don't look this way, I don't deserve to work out. And I would actually give people almost like a disclaimer that even though it doesn't look like I work out, I do. Just so you know. Like, what am I doing? Why am I having to prove myself and who I am to random people about my workout regimen when I deserve to just show up and not have to explain why I look a certain way or what I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing? I literally would give the disclaimer of I work out even though it doesn't look like I work out to make other people more comfortable, because I was afraid I was going to make them confused. I literally was more concerned about how this person is perceiving me, what dots they're connecting, than me just showing up or me just being healthy. That's where my concern was at. And when we have that type of concern, it's really hard to be happy. Why? Because we're so focused on people outside of ourselves instead of just focusing on our damn self. I also had this weird belief that I would work out really, 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 really hard, but then I would be so hungry. And then I would just eat so much more than I've worked off, you could say. And then I was just in this constant cycle of feeling out of control. And for me, my connection with my body goes back to a feeling of being out of control. I grew up in a household where I had every physical need met, food, a roof over your head. If I wanted a Tamagotchi, I got it. If I wanted a keychain for my backpack, I got it. I was very, very fortunate, very privileged in many different ways. I went to freaking Catholic school. I had a lot given to me. But emotionally, I felt very out of control in my circumstance that I grew up in. This bled into my relationship with my body. I always felt out of control. I would work out so hard, but then I would never get any results. And then I would eat so much because I'm so hungry and I can't stop my hunger. It was this constant battle with myself. And the moral of the story there, I found, is balance and changing my motive for why I'm doing what I'm doing. I run every single Monday, not just to look a certain way, but to reclaim my past of people telling me you're not good enough and you don't get this reward. You're not fast enough, so you don't get to celebrate your body, okay? Because you don't run fast enough in this mile. Everyone else gets to celebrate their body, but not you, Cece, because you don't run fast enough. Me running every single Monday is to dispel all of those beliefs, is to X out all of those past memories of people trying to tell me what my body was going to look like and who I have to be. I had a doctor literally tell me straight to my face, you'll never look like your mother. You'll never have her body shape. And I was like, bitch, I'm not trying to, okay? I'm just trying to be a little bit healthier. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm here for a nutritionist, not for someone to bully me. I mean, damn. And that shaped me too. Me taking back my physical body is a big fuck you to everyone who told me I couldn't. It's so personal. This is so personal. I know I always say take things vibrational, don't take them personal. My fitness journey is personal. It's personal. Because I've similar to the positive bitch who DM'd me, she's saying that all these past experiences have clouded her mind about who she can be and who she has to be in terms of exercise and fitness. Fuck that. Fuck it all. This is for you, baby girl. This is for you. This is for you. Your health is for you. I do my best work when I feel my healthiest. I create the best when I feel my healthiest. I want to contribute to the world. It's been my dream since I was a baby to be a positive impact on the world. That's all I've ever dreamt about. And in order for me to do that, I need to feel good in my own skin. Me running every single Monday, that's me reclaiming my health. Another part of this is restoring my understanding about what exercise is. I grew up going to a bodybuilder gym, and then I stopped going there, and I go there again now, and they are very diehard, but it is also, I mean, it's their job. Like, they are literally doing this as their job. And I think that also gave me a bunch of ideas about how I had to look. And at this point, I'm reclaiming my health and saying, I don't need to look a certain way to say that I work out. I deserve to work out and to feel good because I have this body. I was gifted this body. Let me do something good with it. Let me feel good in it. And we don't change until things are so painful that we have no other choice but to change. And I was getting to the point where I was putting on outfits and I was hating every single outfit that I put on. Not even because of what it physically looked like. That was definitely a part of it, but I just didn't feel good in my clothes anymore. I felt just bleh. And when I was feeling those feelings and I was binge eating and I wasn't working out or telling myself I didn't deserve to work out or having these ideas about who I had to be, that's letting everyone else's projections, my past experiences, that's letting them win. And last time I checked, I did not come all the way to planet Earth and incarnate into a physical fucking human to let other people win, to let the birds chirp and for me to believe they're chirping. I came here to live my best life, to learn, develop, and grow. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, I asked my spirit guides to shed some light on our bodies. Like, why am I in this body, first of all? I've spent so much of my time asking, why? God, why me? Why did you give me this body? What are you thinking? Why would you do this? And I spent so much time hating what I had that, first of all, I completely ignored all the positives and all the grateful things I have in my body and the amazing things I can do with my body. We'll get to that. But I asked my guides to, through a meditation, show me what's going on with our bodies. Because why do so many of us feel like we feel icky about our bodies? We don't feel connected. We hate our bodies. Why are we doing it? Like, what's going on? First of all, we have to remember we're spiritual beings having a temporary earthly experience. With that being said, physical bodies are a lot denser than we're used to. We're used to being these high vibrational light beings. When we come to planet Earth, that changes. We don't have manifestations happen like this, and we also, everything slows down. We come into this physical, denser, heavier body, and we have to get used to operating this physical body. It's as if I put your consciousness in a robot. It wouldn't be so comfortable at first. You have to get used to it. So part of our discomfort with our bodies is that we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a physical human experience. We spend many lifetimes in different bodies, in different energies. So of course that's going to cause some confusion. Now, what they showed me in this meditation was wild, but also made so much sense. In this meditation, my guides guided me into what almost looked like a department store, like a Nordstrom's or a Macy's or a Bloomingdale's, Lord & Taylor, a department store like that. And in this department store, instead of there being different designers and name brands and clothing racks, there was a bunch of empty bodies. Like, there was bodies hanging on hangers instead of a Chanel dress. Like, that, it was just completely different. There was bodies hanging on hangers, not in a gory, scary way, but as a, you can purchase this one. There was a bunch of bodies just hanging on hangers as if I could go in, like I would go into Bloomingdale's and just pick whatever body I wanted and get the hell out of there. So when they guided me into this department store where there's all these different bodies, so there's very thin bodies, there's really fit bodies, like a lot of muscly bodies. There are like normal bodies, medium-sized bodies, bigger bodies. There's all different types of bodies that I could embody. And they were all as their adult form. There was no like children options. It was just like adult forms that I saw in the particular department that I was in. And on each of these bodies was almost like a tag. So you know how when you go to the store and there's a tag with the price and the designer and the barcode, on each of these bodies there was a tag. And on this tag, instead of it being the barcode, the price, and the designer, it was possible illnesses this body can come into contact with, the positives of having this body, the strengths of this body, the weaknesses of this body. And what my guides were showing me is that you go into this department store, there's all these different options of bodies, just like there's different options of pants, suits, dresses in a department store. You can walk over to the body, you can look at the tag, you can understand what the potential weaknesses and strengths of each body is. You can understand, this was the biggest part, you can understand the lesson you're going to receive from each body. What they were showing me is that each body is encoded with certain lessons, challenges, which I really call opportunities, and possibilities. Each body, that was like their price. The biggest part of the body was the lesson that you're going to learn from it. That was like that's the thing that's going to get you. And what they showed me is that you picked this body, Cece. What the fuck are you complaining about? And I was like, huh? Me? I am the culprit. It's me. I'm the problem. Hi. What? No, this is God's fault. Last time I checked, I'm pretty sure God did this to me. Like, he's acting all funny and crazy and stuff. And they're like, stop yourself, Cece, where's the accountability? And I was like, I don't know her. They were like, Cece, you know better than this. You know you have soul contracts to other souls, but also your motherfucking body, yaddy, yaddy, yaddy. And I was like, so you're saying I picked this body because of the lessons that I wanted to learn this lifetime, and I knew it wasn't going to be the easiest body for me to incarnate in, but I chose to learn it anyway to express my creativity, to use my voice and learn discipline? Because, that's Cece's soul. I gotta have a talk with her because the decisions she has made then and the decisions I would make now are a little bit different. No, I'm just kidding. I would choose the exact same thing because before coming into this lifetime, moral of the story, we choose our body. We choose the body that we're going to learn from. And we literally know the possible weaknesses and strengths of each body, and we still move forward with that body. Apparently, which was unknown to me, apparently I chose this body to learn a lot about my solar plexus. It was self-control, discipline, and balance. Those were my lessons. My least favorite things. Balance. I was like, great. Okay, awesome. So anyway, this made me feel a lot less angry at God, I guess you could say, but also just a lot more accepting. And also, I think a lot of us look at other people's body. Emily Ratajkowski, I think that's her name, always comes to mind. I remember she wore that one outfit to the Met Gala where I don't understand, like she was like a bird or something. And I remember there was this whole social media like campaign going that yes, Emily is beautiful, but so are you. Like, this is not the only definition of beauty that we have. There are other definitions of beauty too, and abso-freaking-lutely. But I think a lot of us get stuck in the rut of comparing our body to someone else's body and being like, well, why do they have this and I don't have that and they're so much better than me? Bitch, you chose this, okay? You chose this body. It's not can we get out of the 3D for a minute? Can we stop focusing on the 3D for a minute? You chose this, not just because of how you were going to look, not just because of how men were going to find you attractive or women, or I don't even care anymore. Not because of how sexually attractive and aroused people would be when you walked into the room, but because you're a freaking soul learning lessons. Have we forgotten our purpose here? Our intention of incarnating as a human? Because I think we have, and we need to reel that shit back in real fast. We need to reel it in. I am so guilty of forgetting why I chose this body. I mean, that's why I asked my spirit guides, hello, show me what's going on here because your girl's confused. I needed to see that I chose this body. I understood the risk, the potential hazards, the potential benefits, and the potential possibilities, honestly, opportunities that would be presented with this body. Now, the reason that they explained to me the tag had so many different, almost like if you take a medication, you know how there's so many different side effects. This tag was kind of similar to that, where there were so many different possible outcomes. And I asked them, like, how is it that one body can go in so many different directions? Like, isn't it just you get this body and this is it? And they said no, because of free will. So the other part of this is you are gifted this body and it has innate strengths and innate weaknesses, but also depending on how you decide to treat this body, it's going to respond to that. And that's why there's so many different possible outcomes you can have with your body. I mean, I've seen this in my own life when I don't care about what I'm eating, but I stress out about it anyway for some reason, and I would gain weight. My body was very different and it had different potential hazards. Like I would feel worse, I would gain weight, acne, my thyroid would do worse. And so there was those potential hazards. But when I take better care of myself, because I have more time and attention and focus and energy, which actually breeds even more time, focus, and energy, positive energy anyway, I have a different set of opportunities, but they're on the positive spectrum of I feel better, I do better. I do want to have one disclaimer. Like, I remember being in high school and college, and I was so stressed out all of the freaking time. And I think it's also important to recognize that with this free will, there's also seasons. This is very convoluted. There's many layers. And I always remember thinking, like, let me just get through fucking high school and I will take better care of myself. And then I did the same thing in college, and I kind of was like, let me just get through college and I'll take better care of myself. I have a very A-type personality when it comes to studies and books and reading in school. And so that was my main priority, but also I was like hyper focused on it, and it didn't really leave room for me to actually take care of myself. But when I think back at that time, at first I was like, okay, Cece, you had so much actual time that you could have, worked on yourself and done better and whatever. But when I actually think about that season in my life, I was going to school and I was interning. I was trying my best to work out, but I felt really overwhelmed. And that's not the work. Like, people have it so much worse. They have an internship, work, and school. Like, when I met my boyfriend, he was interning, he was working, and he was in school. I only was interning and going to school. And I felt so overwhelmed. I was dealing with family stuff at that time too. And at that time, it's like, I don't know. I didn't have the mindset to get into my health. And I also just want to say, like, if you're in one of those seasons where you're feeling so overwhelmed that you can't even get your shit together for your health, some seasons your health isn't going to be your main priority. That's just a fact. I want you to make it as important as you can. But if you're a single mother, you are working 2 jobs and you're trying to get the kids on the bus, you're trying to get dinner on the table, you're trying to keep a roof over your head, please don't feel negative about yourself. Why are we doing this? You're fucking busy. Let's honor that. Let's have a moment that we can also acknowledge that we're not just these pieces of shit who don't prioritize our health. Sometimes there are seasons in which we're very overwhelmed, and these seasons our health isn't going to be number one. I feel like no one talks about that, and I don't know why. Of course I want your health to be number one all the time. I think it should be, but I'm not going to completely ignore that sometimes we have a family member who's sick and we're at the hospital every day, or we have like 5 jobs at once and we're trying to make ends meet. We can't ignore that life happens. What I want you to hear from this podcast is do the best you can with what you got, okay? Do the best you can with what's going on in your life at that time, because that's really all you can do. And if you can eat one less candy bar, eat one less candy bar. Do what you can do, but make a promise to yourself that this is about reclaiming your own health. I see reclaiming my health as taking back my power from everyone who told me I couldn't look like how I wanted to look like. I see me taking care of my health as me taking back my power and putting myself on the pedestal. I see taking care of myself and my health as me putting myself first. And I feel like it took dermatitis for me to really understand that I deserve to feel good. Like, I deserve to feel good in my own skin. And my journey of feeling good in my own skin and my exercise journey and health journey is not going to look like Emily Ratajkowski, and that's okay. It's not going to look like someone who has a completely different body type than me, and that's okay. That person doesn't take anything away from me, and I don't take anything away from them. We're on different journeys. We chose different journeys. We chose different obstacles to turn into opportunities. We chose different strengths and different weaknesses, and that's okay. That's okay. At the end of the day, we can either be beaten up by life, or we can ask ourselves, how can I benefit from life? And at this point, this season that I'm currently in, I'm saying, I don't care how life tries to beat me up. How can I benefit from it? It's the same thing as saying, I'm not going to let life work against me. I'm going to figure out how can life work for me. Same thing. We have to refocus on taking our power back, not just in relationships, but for our physical body too. Our health is really everything. My health is number one in my life because I know how terrible it feels to feel sick. I know how terrible it is to have your thyroid all messed up. I know how terrible it is to feel so out of control with your own skin. One of my favorite affirmations that really has helped me feel better in my own skin is I'm creating a new life with new rules. Because I felt out of control for so long, I feel like using this affirmation reminds me daily to refocus on what I do have control over and to say to myself, just because I've had a certain past doesn't mean that has to be equivalent to my present or my future. I can change it. I'm creating a new life with new rules. I'm creating a new way to run that mile. And every time I run that mile, regardless of what time it's in, I celebrate myself. I clap it up. I hug myself because I don't need a gym teacher, okay, telling me whether or not I deserve an award for my physical fitness. It's not like I was trying to join a competition. We were forced to have this physical fitness test. Anyway, I love that affirmation. The second thing I do, like I've been saying this whole podcast, is I like to do the thing that I've been told I can't do. I've been told my whole life, oh, you can't run a mile and you're not going to get an award. And that's why I run it every single Monday because I'm like, fuck you, I can do what I want, okay? I'm going to run this mile and I'm going to do it well. The reason I want to become my best self physically and feel my best physically is because I had a doctor telling me you're not allowed to do that. And I think that when we're on our health and fitness journey, when we're trying to look a certain way, it's just not as fun as making it more personal and saying, no, this is emotional. This is spiritual. This is more than just this physical appearance. What is your why? You know, why do you want to become your best self physically? Why do you want to change your body? Is it just so Harry and Tom like you? Because that's fucking boring. How about it's so you feel your best, so you can reclaim your power, so you can go out and do your best work and feel good in your own skin and not be afraid to be seen. A lot of us will purposely, well, I shouldn't say purposely, consciously anyway, but subconsciously we will put on weight as a barrier, as a shield between us and the outside world. Because I felt so out of control as a kid, I would put on weight all the time to protect myself as a barrier from who I am in here to the outside world. Because I felt like I had no control over the outside world, I just said, okay, let me shove myself into this skin suit and I'll protect myself that way. But no more, because that's a coping mechanism and that creates secondary issues. No more will I do that. Now I'm saying I'm taking control of what I can control. I'm going to run that mile. I'm going to put healthy foods into my mouth. And at this point, when I see like a Kit Kat bar, to me, I'm not even into it. I'm like, that's straight up chemicals. It's literally not food. It's not food that looks like chemicals. It's chemicals that look like food. And there's a fucking difference. There's a big difference, baby girl. What I want you to get out of this podcast is, number one, if you're in a season where you're trying to make ends meet, just do your best with your health, okay? We don't need you stressing out more. Two, take your power back by taking your health back. One of the best ways to take your health back and to reclaim your power is to take your focus back under your control. Take control over what you're focusing on. I spent so much of my time wasted focusing on what I thought was wrong with my body, what I believed was wrong with my body, everything I hated about my body, when really that is being problem oriented when I could have just been solution oriented and focused on, well, what can I do with my body? How is my body going to operate its best? What are the strengths of my body and how can I lean into those? You can focus on your weaknesses or you can focus on your strength and strengthen your weaknesses. I always think about my uncle. He's brain damaged. He's in a wheelchair. He can't eat by himself. He can't walk. He's 6'4". He's like 200 and something pounds. It's difficult to take care of him because of his size and weight, and also he literally can't do anything for himself. He can't even use the bathroom. He can't use his limbs. He can't use his, honestly, anything, really. He can't use his body. He doesn't have control over his body. He can kind of reach for like a french fry or something, but he doesn't have control over his body. I'm thinking like, oh my God, I have to do this workout. My Uncle Tommy would fucking love to do that workout. But he doesn't have the ability in his body. He's learning a different lesson. He has a different journey than me. But he doesn't have the ability, not even the chance, not the opportunity to work out. And I do. I'm going to take that fucking opportunity. I'm going to take up that opportunity and see what I can do. Focus on what you can do, not what you hate. Because when you focus on what you can do, you start to shift the things you hate anyway. 3, make this personal. Okay. I know I said take things vibrational, not personal. That's when someone offends you. But take your health journey personal because it is you versus you. It is you and you. No one else is involved in your personal health journey. It's you. You can hire a trainer, you can hire a nutritionist, but at the end of the day, it's you making decisions about you. And I heard somewhere that Olympic athletes don't cheat on their diets, or I don't even like that word cheat because it's like, bro, what? Anyway, they don't cheat on their diet. They don't try to skip ends because they want to be their best. And I feel like for a lot of my life, I would try to like cheat my diet or like skip corners. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. But then it never ended up being fine. But now I see myself as an Olympic athlete for my life. Like, I'm not trying to skip out on myself. I'm not cutting corners. I'm doing this for me. There's no gun to my head telling me I need to do anything. I'm taking better action and making better decisions for me. And I am an Olympic athlete in my own life. I am juggling it, girl. Okay, Olympic juggler here. And that is how I see things now. I don't see a quote unquote diet, which I love what Kanye West said. He called it a live it because it's a lifestyle, baby. I don't see diets as something I want to cheat or get around. I see it as a live it. I see it as my Olympic athlete lifestyle that I'm not doing for someone else. I'm doing this for me. And baby girl, I want to see you out there doing this for you too. I love you so much. I hope this episode resonated with you. If it did, please share it with a friend, post it on social media, tag me, let me know how you enjoyed it. And of course, if you can, leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps this podcast grow. As always, the sparkle in me honors the sparkle in you, you positive bitch you. And I will see you in the next one. Mwah.